Okay, live now. Hello everyone, or anyone who's coming out here. Just gonna send this to a few of my friends here. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see. Boop, boop. There we go. Okay. Oh, okay. So, I just did a live yesterday, and I'm back again today. Mainly because I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has reached out to me and thanked me for sharing my story with everyone here. And also because the main reason that I wasn't doing these lives on YouTube is because you needed 50 subscribers to do a live stream, and I did not have 50 subscribers yesterday. I only had 19, and so I asked for everyone's help. Oh, hi everyone, yes. I asked for everyone's help to try and get me up to 50 subscribers so I could do a YouTube live stream. And I got there. I got to, I think I have 56 now, which thank you. Thank you guys. Like, thank you so much. I'm just so appreciative of that. Like, it's really encouraging. It just really helps me be willing to even do this and put myself out there again after yesterday. See how much I can even focus on the camera today. I keep, okay. But anyway, so I got to 50 subscribers, but there was one small hitch, and apparently I can't stream off from my phone, so I have to actually get a webcam, which I don't have. So in celebration of me reaching my 50 subscriber mark, which, you know, so I can do my YouTube live streams, I decided to come back here again today and maybe share a little bit more of my story with some thoughts that I had from some of the people that messaged me yesterday about comments, just about what I had spoken about. And I was honestly quite surprised that it even reached as many people as it did. You know, so I just want to say thank everyone. I just want to thank you guys for even reaching out to me. And so let's get on with it, though. I got a couple things I wanted to do today. First of all, I decided, you know, I love fortune cookies for some reason. I'm like, I buy boxes of fortune cookies. They always just, you know, give you that little something, you know, you need a little message from spirit, like, oh man, help me. Like, you know, a lot of times it comes out right. It comes out like something super accurate, and you're just like, oh wow, like that's kind of crazy. So I got a fortune cookie here for everyone. We're gonna open it together, and we're gonna figure out, see what everyone got for their fortune. This is a collective fortune cookie for everyone. So here we go. Let's break it open. It actually kind of cracked a little bit before I started. So, but anyway, so let's see what we got. Modest people never talk of themselves. Guess I'm not modest. I guess I'm not modest. And if any of you have seen any of my posts, then you probably aren't that surprised by that one. So don't be modest. Talk about yourself. I want to hear what you have to say about yourself. You know, I don't know if this tree is gonna not totally harass me today, though. She really wants to get into the picture when she comes. So anyway, yesterday I was talking about mainly my path to awakening to who I am and what my mission on this planet is, which has been a very long and beautiful and kind of crazy journey that I've been walking for these 41 years here on planet Earth. Yay. So I believe yesterday I was talking about how I first awakened to God and who God really was and how we are God, and really felt it for the first time. You know, so grateful. And you know, after that I really entered a phase of my life that I call the honeymoon phase of enlightenment. Oh, I see some people. Hello. Hi, guys. So what I did was I called it my honeymoon phase of enlightenment, because after I awakened to, oh my God, we're all one. Like, this is so wonderful. Like, I never felt alone again. I always felt like God's presence was with me, and I would talk to Him, and I was never lonely. We had the best conversations, like, and I thought, this is great. I can share this with people, and they're gonna be able to relate to it, and it's gonna somehow, hopefully, give them, like, hey, look how I did this. Look, you can do this. You know, I thought this is gonna be so easy, sharing this with people. You know, sharing the truth with people. Because really, that was the main thing I'd come to discover, was that, you know, the best feeling that I have found is telling the truth. is telling completely raw, unadulterated truth. Just put it out there. Like, people are, you always have people. I don't know how it is for everyone else, but for me, I've always had this internal dialogue, just going on and going on, and so, we already have all these thoughts that we're keeping to ourselves, that we're thinking about when people share themselves with us or something is happening. And like I said, it goes back to the whole masks ideal about how we want to be loved, and we learn from an early age that the only way to be loved is to make yourself more lovable, more moldable to what each and every person specifically likes, And so, oh boy, okay. Woo, just, here we go, I'm back. So anyway, this goes back to the whole mask thing. So, telling the truth was something I started getting really comfortable with. I just started, what, would it be so bad? Would it be so bad if I just, come back and just tell people, actually, this is the truth. This is what it is. Just take it. Take it. I can't handle it anymore. Just take it. So honestly, the first thing I did when I came back home from Florida and going to school to learn to become a midwife. Well, first of all, if any of you did watch my live stream yesterday, you'll know that even though I moved to Florida to go to this school for midwifery, to be one of the best midwives that I could be, because really I even had to get an interview before I got accepted into the school, and I still remember some of the things that I said in that interview. And I remember telling the woman, I said, if you let me be in your school, I'm not just going to be a good midwife, I'm going to be a great midwife. I told her, I was like, you just let me into the school, please. And so even though I was like head of my class, it's a small school. It was like in an old Victorian style house in downtown Gainesville. So it was right down the street from the university, the Gators. Yeah. Love Florida. So so yeah, I went to school. The whole program was supposed to be for 2 years, but being away from my children was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And so after about 4 months, the midwife that I had for my own birth, for my second birth, for home birth midwifery, she was like, "What are you doing down in Florida?" She was like, "I could train you. Like, why?" But at the same time, I don't think she would. She says this thing, but sometimes people, it's the mask. You know what I'm saying? She's put on the mask, and she's like, I think it honestly was me doing all that and going down to Florida, because she was one of the busiest midwives in the state at the time, and she had a lot of people. When you're in the birthing community, okay, if you really love birthing, okay, and there are a lot of women out there that do, and you start usually by becoming a doula or a labor assistant, okay, which is what I did, because I was like, ain't no way I could be a midwife, like how are you gonna be a midwife? How many people are actually even looking for a midwife, And because I hadn't even heard of it. I hadn't heard of it, that was even a possibility until after I had my first son, and I had such a horrible hospital experience. I was just like, there's got to be something else. And I was going to a chiropractor, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you got to use our midwife," And I was like, "What?" So that's kind of how that's really how God kind of works with the signs and the synchronicities. It's just like when it's meant to happen, He'll bring the things into your life that it's going to make that possible. So. Here I had this dream and this desire to have a home birth midwife, and to possibly even be a midwife one day, and God just lined it up. And so yeah, when I first came back from Florida and decided to train with my main midwife, who was a great, wonderful years. We attended a lot of women, and really, it's just such a sacred thing that people don't realize. Like, the birth of a baby into this world it's such a, sacred is just really the only word. It's very sacred, and we just don't treat it like that in hospitals. And that was one of the reasons why I was just so determined, no, there's got to be other options out there. And because okay, here's the thing, what gets the baby in gets the baby out. Okay, so all these C-sections and all these episiotomies and forceps and having to force a baby out, you know what I'm saying, on our time, okay? The main reason I found for that is it's just that a watched pot never boils. Isn't that kind of the same? It's the same thing for women. It's like, oh yeah, here, go ahead. All right, we're all going to watch you now. Push that baby out, You know, it's the same thing as orgasm. You know, like really, if they're just crowd, oh yeah, we're gonna put this little monitor on you, we're gonna put an IV in you, you can't get up, we're gonna take your clothes from you, like they strip you of your identity, you know, everything. It's just so, just so, so really, that's really the biggest problem that I found as a midwife. It's just that the fear and not having that moment being respected. You know, a lot of the times, women who were really ready, okay, like women who had completely let go of that fear, a lot of times we wouldn't even make it to the birth because they just go so fast. And those are the ones you could trust, honestly, the most, the ones that would go so fast. So anyway, let's get back to what the point of all this is, if I can, okay? My honeymoon period of enlightenment. So I came back to train with my midwife, and I had a new perspective. I had a new way of being where I was unafraid to tell the truth anymore. I was going to just tell people, as hard as it was, as comfortable it wasn't going to be for me, I was going to tell them. So, you know, the first mess that I came home to clean up, which was the one that I kind of mentioned yesterday, was the fact that I was leaving my husband for someone else. And I had to come back and I had to own up to that. I had to come back, I had to clean that mess up. And, you know, and I started to discover, you know, like the truth for me didn't seem to have the same effect on people as I thought it might, you know, because I mean, I just felt free. I just felt like, oh, thank God, I don't have to, you know, don't have to keep pretending and having that run in my mind anymore. It's just out there. Now I just tell people that. But, you know, it was like the more and more I would tell my truth and be brave. You know, it attracted some people. It attracted some people to me, and I no, just looking at the little chat box there. But yeah, I found out that actually the truth is a lot harder for people to hear than I realized it was going to be. And when it came to people that I really love and I cared about their opinions, well, if they didn't take it good, if it was a harder truth where I had to say something like, you know, this makes me feel bad, you know what I'm saying, and someone loves you, and they get defensive, you know, I was unprepared for that. I was unprepared for the triggers it was going to have for people, you know, like I said, some people really loved it, they really responded to it really well, but other people, they were just like, you know, no, like, please don't give me any more of that, like, please don't give me any more of that. And because these people were the people that meant so much to me, you know, I started second guessing myself. And I started thinking, you know, maybe I do need to word things, maybe I do need to twist it a little bit, maybe I do need to put a little bit of clothing on it for people to be able to handle seeing it. I don't know. And and that slowly was the descent for me. That was the descent into losing myself again. Because here I'd found myself, but could I be brave enough to keep putting myself out there and being seen? That was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. So one of the fun things that I brought for us today was one of the books. That, you know, I'm not a reader, but if I recommend a book, okay, if I say I read a book, that tells you something about the book. So the book that really started me on figuring out and remembering who I was this book called Initiation by Elizabeth Heitch. And it was brought to my attention by one of the student midwives that was in my class with me. And she would constantly talk about it, and she would just say, you know, like, oh man, this book is so good, but I can't get anyone else to read it with me, and I just wish that one other person would read it so that I could have someone to talk to about it. And you know, she just kept mentioning it, and me and her had a lot of really crazy synchronicities and things happen with me and her in our lives and stuff. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm gonna force myself to read this book. And so I did. I began reading this book, and it was not an easy read. It's translated from, I think the woman spoke Hungarian. I can't remember exactly. But this is all about a past life. This is about her life story, basically, on how she comes across this. She does this meditation, and she unlocks this past life that she lived in Egypt, where she was actually part of the mystery schools. She was actually a high priestess, at that time, but she was also part of the royal family, and so they were a little bit more relaxed with her stuff, with like what's the word I'm looking for? They gave her special consideration, I guess you could say, and so she had asked for certain things to be given to her before she was ready, basically. Like, she had never fallen in love before, and apparently falling in love is one of those things that, well, from what the book says, like, you can literally see the people ignite, like, when this happens. Like, on the other side, you can see it. So she had done all this training. She unlocked all her chakras. Okay, she even had these pet lions she talks about, and beautiful story. But the thing was is that in order for her to, it keeps making me think of the strength card for the tarot. Like, that's basically what she was able to do. She was able to have these pet lions and stuff like that because she was so in control of her energy and who she was and how that influenced the beings around her. And so, you know, she went through all these tests and trials, and absolutely resonated with me when I was reading them. You know, some of the tests and the trials, these ones are kind of funny. One of the ones, the first one, which I found very interesting, the first test that the ancient mystery schools gave her was she had to go and meditate and sit with a tree. And she just had to sit there until she figured out what the lesson was. And the lesson was that we are all one, and that tree is me, and I am that tree type of thing, and she learned that. One of the other initiations that they used to do, and I feel like I remember this one, I don't know why, but I really feel like I remember this one, is that they would put you in a boat, and they would put you in the middle of a large body of water at nighttime, and, you know, supposedly they were able to, according to this book, they were able to manipulate weather and stuff like that, and they would make a storm happen, and you would have to find your way back to shore just by the stars, just by where they were at, and figure out, okay, this is where I'm at, and I gotta go here. So, that would be terrifying. I don't even know. Whew. But I get, you know, this is the things that, you know, they even mentioned something similar in Moana, actually, just making me think of that. With Maui, you know, and the fish hook, and that was how the people charted and got from place to place, obviously by the stars and stuff. So this is one of the other initiations that they did. And so yeah, basically what ended up happening to her though was she fell in love. She had never been in love before, and it threw her off. It threw her off, and it made her, how they described it in the book was that it made her chakras like just kind of burn out, and she wasn't able to control herself in the same manner that she was used to being able to control herself. And so she went in kind of distraught feelings, went to visit her pet lions, and they tore her to shreds. And so that's what happens when you aren't in control of your emotions. That's kind of like what happened, the downfall, like our frequency just. So yeah, this book it's really, I definitely recommend it. It's definitely gonna push you. I had to stop and reflect is what it was, which was one of the first times that I actually had a book that did that for me, that would make me stop and just reflect, like, what do these things really mean? You know, what do these things really mean? It's really just like, what does it even mean, guys? What does it even mean? So let's put that down there. So anyway, where else should we go with this? I didn't really have a plan for today. Like I said, I was just coming to celebrate for my 50 subscribers, and I don't plan on being on here too long today, because obviously I'm going to start coming back now. But so yeah, I came back home into my enlightenment period of my honeymoon enlightenment phase, and slowly I started having to put that mask back on, or not had to. Slowly I started putting the mask back on. Whew. Okay, so let's see where we're going to go with this now. Okay. Give me a second. Sorry about that. I try to keep it flowing, just because I know when I watch other people's YouTube streams, you know what I'm saying? They if they stop for a minute, sometimes it's like, oh, they're gonna keep going. I'm gonna switch out of here. So I came back, and I cleaned up the mess that I made, and I started telling the truth. And actually, another man came into my life. See, this is why I probably am hesitating, because I knew I was going to go here. And I don't really it's like, it's embarrassing. It's a little embarrassing. But it's, at the same time, it's like, how else is anyone going to know without details about how it is I actually experience this? How are people going to know? So I came back, I cleaned up my mess with my going to be ex-husband at the time, and I actually had someone else come into my life. And I really wasn't thinking much of it, because at the time I was still in love with God, so to speak. Like, I was just like, I'm in love with God here every single day. Just walk with me. That's all I need, is just talking to Him, But things happen in life. I had children, and this man came, and I fell in love with him because he fell in love with me. He fell in love with me first, and I took that very seriously. I felt like, because of my past, because of what I had put my ex-husband through, I felt like, oh, I better, if someone gives you their heart, then I better care for it. I better care for it really, like it's precious as it is, because this was a person who had not had any relationships really before me. That should have been a red flag maybe, but it wasn't at the time. And so they hadn't had a relationship before. They'd never been in love before. And so I thought, I'm not going to mess up this time. I am going to treat this person in their love with the respect and the consideration it deserves, and the honor that it deserves, since I fucked up so bad before, right? So I start living this life, giving respect to this person's heart, and trying to just do the right things, trying to figure out still, like, how do I help more people, how, because all along the ways you start to second guess yourself, like, am I doing the right thing, and it was not easy. This was not an easy relationship for me, because even this is just what comes with youth, really. I did not, even though I was giving him this consideration, he was not giving me that same consideration back. Somehow I just let that slip by, because it was a self-punishment, because I was saying to myself, like, from what I did in my past relationship, like, I deserve this. I deserve this treatment. Like, he's basically putting me through everything that I put my ex-husband through, and I deserve to feel this, which I can say now, safely, now, that I was wrong. That I got it wrong. That, no, actually, I think those are the moments in life where God is trying to tell you, value yourself, like, you're going to value someone else's love over, but what about your heart? What about your feelings? Like, that's important too. That's special too. And loving someone and having someone love you does not mean that you don't make healthy boundaries, and that is something I had no idea what that was. What is it? It's a healthy boundary. I don't know. It took me quite a bit to start to figure out what that actually looks like. So, yeah, I put myself through the ringer with that relationship, but, there was beautiful points. There was beautiful situations, beautiful synchronicities, beautiful little stories that happened during that transition. And I'm going to share one of those with you right now, because that's really what I want to do a lot of times, is I want to share the cool little stories that I have, so that you guys can go out and live your cool little stories, and maybe try what I'm trying and see if it works for you. Just see if it works for you. Okay? So so here we go. This is what I'm going to do. So what I did was, at the time, this is just a short little story. So I'm back from Florida. Okay, like, I'm a midwife now. I'm mentoring. I have this new relationship, and I'm still very close and connected to God. And not only that, but now Jesus was in my life too, because after I had used the mantra meditations to fully wake up, I had someone come into my life, and they were all about Jesus, and I was just like, what is so special? What is so special? Like, and after a while of meditating and reflecting on it, I really do feel like I had some communications with Jesus. And one time he gave me a blue rose, blue rose, and it was encased in crystal. You could see through the crystal, but it was like the deepest blue that you could see, and it was just so beautiful. And I thought to myself, what does this mean? Like, what does this rose symbolize? And I'll tell you what, it actually took me till just this year to figure out the full depth of what that rose actually symbolized. And maybe I'm not even done figuring that out yet. Maybe there's even more layers that I haven't uncovered yet, but I'm sure I will. But what I discovered was that actually, that those roses, they symbolize us, obviously. They symbolize the sacred mother, the sacred women, I think. This is just my idea. This is what I came up with upon reflecting. Because I have these things, and I'm going to get into them. They're called heart wishes, okay? And they're just moments that I take after, thinking about people and thinking about what I know about them, and however my heart is inspired to feel or think about them. I just think, like, if I could help, what would I do? If there were no limitations on how I could help someone, what would I do? Okay, and so I had made this heart wish for someone, and they actually showed me a vision. It was to protect them during a hard time in their life, and they actually showed me a vision of this person as well as a rose, and it was a beautiful black rose. And I was looking at it, and all of a sudden a storm came in this vision, and the rains just started beating on this rose, and the petals were like shaking and everything like that. And then the sun came out, and the little drops of water that were left on that black rose, well, they started to crystallize, and they started to form that crystal shell around the rose. In the same way that my crystal rose that Jesus had given me in that meditation, it looks just like that. And I realized, oh, it's the storms in our life, it's the hardships in our life that allow us that opportunity to crystallize who we really are and figure out, like, what am I all about? Like, what is important to me? Because what flows around all these things inside of you, the thoughts and stuff like that, there's a reason for that. They're important. The things that you like, okay, not everyone likes the same stuff. Like, not everyone has the same desires or dreams and stuff like that. And shouldn't you want to know yours? Like, those are the most important ones, because those are the ones that are honestly telling you who you are. Those are the ones that are telling you who you've been, who you will be. Okay? The things that you like. You're drawn to those things for a reason. Pay attention to those things. Don't just shrug it off and be like, oh, everyone likes that type of thing. Like, no, not everyone likes exactly the same stuff in the same ways that you like it, So definitely pay attention to that. And so, anyway, so Jesus had given me this rose, and I realize now that it's the hardships in our life that make that rose crystallized in who we are. And then the other thing that he showed me, okay, this was just a fun one. So the other thing that happened was around the same time that I was attending women in birth. There was a woman there who, she had the most beautiful, one of my clients, she had a beautiful silver cross. And I just remember, oh man, I really like that silver cross so much. And on my way home from work that day, I just said to myself, I just said to the universe, I said, I really want a silver cross. I'm like, I don't want to buy it. I'm like, and I only want it if I deserve it. I said, if I deserved it through my faith and through the work that I'm doing, then I'm just asking the universe. I said, I want you to bring me the silver cross, bring it to me within a week, and I want it to be a gift if I deserve it. Okay, so a couple days later, I'm over my boyfriend's house at the time, and we were just hanging out, really. It's one of the first times I'd been to his house. And I didn't tell him about what I had asked for. I did not put that out there. I keep those things to myself, usually until I see some evidence that they've actually happened. So I'm sitting there with him, and he goes, oh yeah, wait, I have a gift for you. I have something for you from my grandmother, who was a nun before. She was a nun, and she was going through some of her things, and she wanted me to give you one of these. you want me to offer you one of these? And he pulls out 3 silver crosses for me to choose from. And so I was just, that's just, thank you God. Like, thank you God for these little moments of magic, because they just are so inspirational. It definitely filled my heart with joy and made me feel like, okay, I'm still doing good. I'm still going to keep going on this mission. I'm still going to keep going. And so I did. That was one of the funner ones, I'd have to say, of the because really, I'm a manifester. It's really the thing that I think that I want to help people with, is learning how to manifest their dreams coming true. I mean, that is literally what the Blue Fairy is all about. She makes dreams come true. Not everyone has the same dream. It makes it easier. If I'm trying to help out there, okay, not everyone has the same dream. And so, like, a lot of times I hear people, they talk about things that they want, they talk about hopes that they have, and sometimes I just ask them, I'm like, do you ever just ask the universe for that? Do you ever just, just say, hey, could you guys give this to me? Do you, having that constant stream of dialogue with the source is like, once you have that connected, asking for these things is something that they want you to do. It's not something that it's not just, it's something you need to do. It's just something that the whole reason for even partly being here is so that you could experience what you want to experience, and I think that's part of what the Matrix does, is it beats us down into believing we don't even have a right to ask for these things. We should just be happy with what we got. Now, to a certain extent, absolutely, gratitude is wonderful, and you absolutely should. But if you're sitting in like somewhere that's just horrible, it's kind of hard to pull from those things. And so you have to find other ways to do it. You have to find other little things, little baby steps that you can ask for to help cultivate the belief in yourself, so that you can become a conscious manifester as well. Because that's really how I got here. And that's really the purpose of what I'm even doing talking here today, is because if you guys knew where I came from, and how I got here now, like, this was unheard of. This would be completely an impossibility for me. 5 years ago, I was just, such more than that even. I would say, even 2 years ago, I would say this was not even a possibility. I could not even fathom it. And I think that's part of the reason why we don't ask. Part of the reason why we don't ask for these things is because we think, how could that ever even happen? How could, I don't see a way how that could happen. I can't visualize it in my mind, like how those steps would work out that way. So we just don't even ask, because we think, no, that's impossible. That's impossible. How could that happen? No. But really, it is possible. Everything you want is possible. Anything you can think of, the sky is the limit when it comes to these things, But how much time and effort and energy you're going to put into keeping that in your mind as to what you want, now that's something different. You know what I'm saying? Because you can say, oh, I want to go on a trip. You know what I'm saying? That's all I want. If I just had a trip, if I could just go on this trip, then I would be fine. I'd have so much a better life. You know what I'm saying? But then people, they get caught away in their life. They stop thinking about those things. They stop taking the time to daydream and imagine. Because that's really how manifestations start. It's in the mind. Everything you want to feel, it's all inside. And it all starts here. Okay? It all starts here. So what I do, I get specific when I ask for things sometimes, but a lot of times lately I find it's better if I'm not too specific. If I'm just like, I would really like to experience this, and I don't really know how that would work out, God, so why don't you just go ahead and fill in the blanks for me. I'm kind of curious about what that would be like, just fill in the blanks for me. And if I just let go and just trust, that God will not lead me astray, and that whatever is from my highest timeline of love and joy is going to be mine, because that is my laser focus. That is what I keep my eye on. Highest timeline, of love and joy, not just for me, for all people. That is what I want to see. That is really why I'm here. I want to help people realize, because that is what the whole planet needs. That is what it's if we're trying to make Earth a better place, it's got to start inside. It's got to start in here. Okay. I'm sure. Okay. So anyway, where were we at? I don't even know how much longer I got this in me. Oh, yeah. Oh, so sorry. Someone just texted me, asked me if I'm going live right now. I'm just going to send them the link. She can come in and hang out. Come here, girl. Oh, snap. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me for 1 second. I just wanted to get my friend here. Okay. Well, apparently I can't find a link. So, copy link. Haha, there we go. Okay. So there, she can come hang out now if she wants. Okay, so I probably won't be on here too much longer though, just because I need to get back inside and finish taking care of the things we're going to be doing here today, me and the family. But let me see if there's anything else that I can pull from before I go here today, because I'm just really excited to be doing this. I'm just really excited that I finally have found enough of myself to feel comfortable enough to share it with you guys. I just want everyone to know, like, whatever spot in your life that you are in right now, if it's in a dark place, if you're, whatever it is, that you're not alone. You're not alone. And one of the promises that I made, I used to read this article online, this newsletter thing that it was called the Archangel Michael calendar. I'm pretty sure that's all it was. So anyway, I used to read this article every single day. They would come out and it would give you little assignments and stuff like that. And I always really liked that, because sometimes it's hard to know, like, how can I help? I just want to help. Show me. I don't know what to do. So if you give me an assignment, maybe I can go in my meditative state and do that. So for a long time, I was honestly just putting up like light pillars around the world, and then I would think to myself, I just probably isn't even doing anything, and every time I would think this is probably not even doing anything, I would somehow randomly that day come across a photo of light pillars just glowing, like people are like we don't know what this is, these light pillars, and it would be in the area that I was doing my light pillars that day. So I was like, okay, maybe I am doing something, So I was reading this calendar, and they give you these little assignments, okay, decisions to make. And so one of the conundrums, I guess, that they came across was saying that basically it was saying we are going into a portal or a time where, in order to accelerate the ascension of the Earth, that we would need to make a choice. Basically, we would need to make a choice of whether we wanted to save every soul, or whether we wanted to, which I thought this was a very interesting proposition here, we could take the shortcut, like rip the Band-Aid off and lose some, or we could take the long way around and save every single person. And so I really stopped to think about that. What's my personal decision? What would I want? Like, what would that be? What do I really want to choose? And I chose that I would absolutely rescue every soul. I don't even understand, I suppose to each their own. But for me, I chose that I wanted to stay here and make sure that every single one of us woke up and remembered who we were and found love and peace inside them again, because really that's what we are. We are beings of love. We are beings of love. That's what we're meant to be. All the things that are not loving, that that inner critic, that inner dialogue that tells you, that says things to you, that make you just, oh God, oh, I feel so pissed. Oh, why did I say that? Oh no, why did I do that? Like, I have it bad too. It's gotten better. Okay, it used to be really bad, but I found a way to not sink, to share my message and not sink. That was the most important advice that I got in, 2 years ago, I would say, almost 2 years ago now, no, it's a little bit a year ago now, was just share your message and don't sink. And so that is what I started doing, and it's guided me to here. It's guided me to this point. Now, if I can remember the whole point of me saying that, okay, yeah, I do. I remember now. Okay, so yeah, I chose to stay with the earth. I'm gonna stay here. I just, there were some examples that came to me, like as I was contemplating this, and I just thought, because here I am, I'm a mother, and and I can't imagine as the planet being a giant mother, a giant living being, you know what I'm saying? And she gives to us, and she's giving us an abundance all the time, because that's what we're alive with her. We are one creature really together. And here I am, and all these people, all these children of Earth, and we're all like, oh, I just can't wait to get I can't wait to get off this planet. I don't even want to come back. Nope, this is horrible, you know what I'm saying? And I thought, wow, how much would that hurt me as a mother to give so much of myself to my children and to have them be like, I can't wait to get the F out of here. I don't ever want to come back. Like I said, I won't do that to her anymore. I will not do that to our Mother Earth anymore. I will stay here. I will not fight or complain about it because I love her. I love her, and I love the creatures that she houses here. And I love each and every one of you. And I just never want anyone to ever have to feel like that they lived something that is dark and painful, and that there's not even one other single soul that will sit out there with them and just live that with them and sit through it with them. Like, no, I've been through that. I just determined, like, no more. Like, we need to be there for each other. We need to be there for each other. And this is the way I can do it, is by just being with you, just sitting with you while you experience the feelings that you need to go through, because that's really what it was that ended up ultimately taking me to the darkest place in my life, was just that I had stopped feeling. I'd stopped feeling. I had turned the feelings off. I'd suppressed it. I used drugs. I used tools of distraction, because I just could not understand how to share myself with the world. I could not understand how the truth was not enough for people, and so because of the experiences and how painful those triggers, the childhood wounds that I had not healed, instead of healing them, I just covered them up. Until the point where I wasn't even feeling anymore. And it took me quite a while to even figure that out. Feelings, they feelings from the heart, they kind of fade away slowly until they're gone. And then how are you going to recognize that they're gone? Well, I'll tell you how I recognized how they were gone. It was a dream that I had. And in the dream, I was living in my old house, and I was in my bedroom, and okay, so at this point, I'm just going to tell you how old I was at this point. I'd had a couple of kids at this point. I had 4 children at this point, maybe 5. I know it was 5. I had my 5 children at this point, so I was around 30, in my early 30s, and I had this dream that I was in this room, and I had a friend in the room with me. There was a bright light on the ceiling, and I had a friend with me. And at this point in my life, I had no friends. I had not a single friend. The behaviors that I participated in, I didn't even want people around me. That's really the sad thing too. Is like I just like no one touched me, no one looked at me. Like no one. I don't even want. Because I had not let myself take the time to just sit and feel the traumatized things I went through, like no one lets you stop and just process it. And so because I hadn't stopped and processed it, I was just, this horrible place. And so I had this dream that I had a friend. I had a real friend. And for the first time in years, I actually felt happy in this dream, and it was just so sad, because when I woke up and I realized, like, oh my God, like, I don't even know how to feel happy anymore. I don't even know how to feel. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I didn't even feel happy anymore, and that really was the kicker in waking me back up again to, hey, maybe something went wrong here. Maybe you took a wrong turn there, back in your 20s. Maybe you took a wrong turn, and maybe it's actually supposed to be different. Maybe it's possible to feel that way again. At the time, I didn't think so. At the time, I thought, how am I ever going to feel anything ever again? And that was the scary and sad truth for me, because I had all these children, and how am I supposed to feel? How am I supposed to show them the love that they deserve if I don't even have it to give? Because you can't really give. You can't give from an empty cup. You can't give what you haven't already cultivated inside of you already. And so I was basically going through the motions. I had care in me. I knew I had responsibility to care for these children. But was I enjoying it at the time? Like, sadly, I was not. But there's good news. So let's not get too sad on this one, because there is good news. I did pull myself out of that. It did take quite a bit of work to do it, but I did it. Okay? And that's why I'm standing here as an example, to show you guys that you can do it too. Okay? Like, if you can help someone else too, if you've already done it yourself. Because, I mean, we're all on different spectrums at this point about where we're at and figuring out who we are and what we're here to do. And yeah, I guess I'm just going to keep coming back and sharing with you guys, like, exactly how I figured that out for myself, because I know who I am now. I remember who I am now. I remember what my mission here is, and I'm excited to help other people remember. It's really the most important thing. Once you have that memory back, once you have that connection to source again, because really that's the thing most people are longing for, it also is that connection to source, that feeling of love, because that's why we're looking for it outside of ourselves, because we don't feel it inside. We're looking for it. But once that connection is reformed inside of you, like, you'll never be alone again. You'll never feel lonely again. I'll tell you that. You won't, because you'll always have God with you. You'll always have God's voice with you, and then a whole bunch of new other people too. Because let me tell you, when you turn your psychic gifts on, like, they don't leave you alone. They don't, at least they don't leave me alone. So, and I don't mind that. I like it. I like it a lot. I wouldn't have it any other way. So yeah, let me see if there's anything else. Was there anything else that I wanted to bring up? Let's see. I think I might be almost done. Let me see if anyone has anything to say. Oh, of course. And now she joins. Maybe I'll wait just a minute. Hey, girl. Hey. Yeah. So let's see if there's one more thing I can put out there here for now, since my good friend, the Brooklyn Way here, LCB 369 is in the house. Whoop, whoop. So let's see. Is there anything else I can get to? Well, I mean, I guess I could give you guys a teaser of where I plan on going with this, which, like I kind of hinted at, I really want to help people manifest their dreams coming true. I really know that I can do that, I'm doing it myself. Like, my dreams are coming true on a regular basis, and not just my actual dreams, because that happens too. I got that going on all the time. If I remember a dream, it happens. It happens in some way, shape, or form, if I remember it, which I don't often remember my dreams, sadly, because, maybe I like to smoke a little bit too much. It makes you not really remember those dreams too well, but I do it anyway. So yeah, I don't know, I kind of feel like, okay, yeah, that's right. So I'm going to help with the manifestation. I'm going to actually be doing some dancing videos too, because that is one of the other ways that I unlocked who I am, and how I started getting this physical vessel ready for the work that I was going to be doing. Okay, which I just started intuitively dancing, I guess you could say. You know, I kind of wanted to do a little bit of like a ballet, like modern mix type of thing, and I'd actually put this little ballerina doll in this little thing I call a creation spread, which I'll get into that in a future live. And I put this little ballerina in this creation spread, and I just started doing movements. I just started every day. I just started doing little like practice moves and stuff like that. And one day I decided, you know what? I'm going to actually look up what a ballet routine looks like. What does a practice ballet routine look like? And so I looked it up, and it turns out I was already doing all the moves. So I was like, okay, well, that works. All right. So yeah, it's like that. It's like that for me here. I'm gonna do some dancing. Going to keep telling about my stories. I don't know. I only stayed on a little bit longer because I wanted to hang out with Brooklyn. Brooklyn Way. I just wanted to hang out with you. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna go now. I think I've been on here quite a long time at this point. Oh yeah, an hour. Oh, sweet. Okay, I did an hour. Yeah, I actually have a dancing mat I got because I couldn't find my mojo here, I guess, so to speak, when I first moved into this new house. And so now I have this really long, nice dancing mat, and I got this nice, cool little ring light setup thing. So yeah, we're gonna do some dancing, you know, and I'm really excited. Please send me any messages, or I don't really have an email. I did make a Patreon, but I'm gonna put that out once I start figuring out more of the videos that I'm going to do. But yeah, please feel free to reach out to me. You know, I do tarot readings as kind of a side job right now. It was kind of, really, it's the only job I do that's for money at the moment, and I do love it. I love tarot readings, so please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you would like a reading, or you just would like even a counseling session of some sort. You know, I am definitely more than willing to, like I said, sit there with you guys and do my best to help give you the best advice that I can, you know, with what I've gone through and how I turned things around for myself. You know, we all need to fill in the pieces and the gaps for each other. You know, the things that one person doesn't have, another person will, you know, so we just need to figure out what it is that each one of us needs, and then just be willing to give it. You know, as long as it's not crazy unrealistic, right? But usually it's just love. Usually just people want to be heard. Just want to be heard. Just want to know what they have to say matters. You know, and it does matter. It does matter. I can't tell you how many people helped me even get to this point right now. Like, watching the people that I care about the most. And seeing that, like, they're brave. Like, look how brave they are. Like, Cassandra, are you going to say you can't be brave like them? Like, no, not anymore. I'm here. I'm out. I'm out of the closet here. Alright. Oh, so anyway, I love you guys. Oh, I really am. I'm very excited about all this. Oh, I can't wait to get into what my diamond heart is about too, because the diamond heart is a very special part of my name for me, and I'm really excited to get into that part of it. But I'm also kind of, you know, working myself up to do that because it's very vulnerable. It's going to be a very vulnerable place that I have to go to, you know, it kind of is. Every time when I'm sitting here, I'm like reliving it with you guys. That's what I'm doing, is I'm calling it. I'm like just, feeling those feelings again. And so I can't wait to tell you guys about it. I can't wait to tell you about my soul braid walking experience, basically, and how that really helped get me to where I'm at now. And okay, I'm leaving now for real. All right. Okay, we're going. All right, guys. Anyway, live from my fairy kingdom. Until next time.